That's a top 10 dad joke, man. That's a top 10 dad joke.
That's a new dad joke.
Tony the Tiger's walk-on music. I was born for greatness. I'm doing a weird prospector thing as well. My Tony the Tiger impression. I don't know why. Okay, we are streaming. Our consciousnesses are streaming out live to the masses for the first time in a bit. We're here. Where is my music? Are you checking your audio?
Well, are we live?
Yeah, we are live.
Oh.
We are live, my friend. Okay.
Oh.
We are streaming.
Speak, you fucker.
Almost there, folks. New computer's fixed. So happy to be here.
Well, are we live? Hey, there we go. Okay.
Then we are good. All right.
Your computer getting fixed everything.
It fixed it. It turns out that was the issue. A hard drive that was bad.
I'm happy that it was officially your fault.
Of course. Now I think that was determined already that it was my fault.
Well, that's true.
But I guess it was like a 99%, and now it's 100%.
Yeah. Now act like we're not streaming it. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna shut down until the show starts.
Okay. Well, I'm about to hit the play music. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that after a week of my computer being in the shop with a crappy ass hard drive, got it replaced, solid state drive, new kit and caboodle and the whole dang thing. $300 later, here we are, back better than ever. I'm Ryan Knights, and with me as always, sleepy Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how you doing?
Oh boy, Ryan,
you haven't been able to get much sleep this past week in wrestling.
I don't sleep. It's okay.
Well, yeah,
okay.
In general, you don't sleep. But this week particularly,
I was gonna hit you with the what do you guys want to talk about? The Cody Rhodes thing, but I can't. There's too much. I know what we're gonna talk about. It's everything and more. But so this coming month, as in July, was supposed to be a big month, right? We're heading into tournament season, bunch of final shows before tournaments. We have Forbidden Door really to kick that off this week.
Mm-hmm.
And wrestling just said, fuck that. Let's not do that. Let's have the most busiest news week I think we'll ever have. And the worst part, or maybe the best part, worst part, I don't know. Some ways it's good, some ways it's bad, is that we have so many questions still to go. So we're not even at all close to done here. We are going to be awaiting if someone was officially released. We will be, which we still don't know, despite 2 sources so far. We will be awaiting just the most ridiculous, I don't know, man.
It's been a week. It's been a week. Like last week we recorded the episode on Monday, didn't live stream it, and just put it out. We're like, all right, we'll have Forbidden Door next week. We'll talk about Impact, AAA, all that stuff, and then just like the news, just big news week. Very very big heavy week for wrestling, and honestly, like you kind of alluded to, this is really the tip of the iceberg. It feels like there's going to be, especially if the whole Vince McMahon story, this is just going to be even more as throughout the rest of the summer, probably. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. A lot of investigations, a lot of, I assume, maybe trials. I don't know. It could be as bad as trials happening. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It is like the biggest news story in wrestling in decades, probably. You know.
Well, yeah.
And of course, I'm talking about Sasha Banks. Is that the biggest
Oh,
news story?
that's the one. It's funny because a few weeks ago we were. This has been going on for a while. I feel like it's necessary to say, like, we've had a big news story almost every week.
Yeah.
MJF seems like a distant memory at this point. Forgot that guy even existed.
That was what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. And now it feels like it was like a year ago. We're gonna talk about the vid stuff. You're gonna, spread all the facts that people have probably read through. And then we're gonna discuss it. But it's the biggest. It is the biggest story in a very long time. It's because it is the biggest name in wrestling still to this day. Obviously, he built the empire, and I wanna stress this. With or without Vince McMahon, that empire is not folding. That empire is not going down. You know why? Because this might sound bad, but it was worse off with Vince McMahon. So if he's actually gone, which he won't be because he's Vince McMahon, I can't stress that enough. We'll get to it. If he won't be gone, that man is. If everyone expects him to be gone in like the next year, I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I know he got rid of his two jobs, his main jobs, but I'm like, yeah, but he kept creating. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just,
and he still has. He just doesn't have the responsibilities of those things anymore.
yeah,
He
he's
still has
the major stakeholder.
Still has 80% voting power in the company. You know,
Yeah.
he still has control over the board. Basically,
He's still Vince McMahon. I can't stress that enough. It's just never going to. It might change. It might change because this story is, very, very serious, and
there's a good
board.
Yeah, there's a good. Go ahead.
Every report I read, a certain new CEO is very loved in that company. So let's buckle up.
Succession, baby. Well, we'll get into
It's
that a lot more.
Exactly the same. It's scary.
We'll get into that a lot more. Of course, we got a couple other news bits at the top here. We're going to be talking about Vince McMahon, of course. We're going to talk about a little preview for AEW Forbidden Door, and of course, Stardom Fight in the Top. It feels like it should be to the top, but it's Fight in the Top. And we're also going to do a little review ski for Impact Slammiversary, which was held last night. Very good show, by the way. And of course, we got some news bits at the top. So I think to start off, I think we got a little news that broke this morning, the announcement of the G1 block. Scotty, I asked you to not look at this, not look at Twitter. Were you able to do so?
You didn't ask me until after I looked at Twitter.
I look at that Slack, baby. Look at that Slack. I swear to you.
I didn't check Slack.
Well, there it is.
Well, either way, I may have looked at some of them, but if you think I remember any of them, you are wrong.
Yeah, there we go. That's what all I need to hear, baby. Well, we got the G1 block announcements, of course. And if you didn't remember, G1 this year is going to have 28 people, 4 blocks of 7. So we have 4 blocks ahead of us. Scotty, you've not seen all of the blocks. You've seen them a little bit, 10 minutes ago maybe, but we're going to get the full thoughts right for you. Are you strapped in? Are you ready to know about the blocks for the G1 Climax 2022?
Yes, I am as strapped in as can be at 9:30 in the morning.
All right. In the A block, we have Bad Luck Fale.
Oh, boy. Starting off hot, I see.
Jeff Cobb.
All right, I like Jeff Cobb.
Tom Lawler.
All right, I like Filthy.
Kazuchika Okada.
Scrub.
Toru Yano.
Can't beat Jay White.
Toru Yano.
Fuck. God damn it.
Jonah.
I like Jonah.
And Lance Archer.
Wait a minute. They put every
So A
block.
block is Bad Luck Fale, Jeff Cobb, Tom Lawler, Kazuchika Okada, Yano, Jonah, and Lance Archer.
There's only one person that can win that block.
I think it's pretty much
don't
Okada.
Act like anyone else can.
It's pretty much Okada. The one person that I would maybe put like a little asterisk on would maybe
Cobb.
I could see Cobb win it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I said that last year though.
Yeah,
If he was going to win, last year might have been it. Guy went undefeated, lost his last match.
I definitely said that for New Japan Cup, I believe.
That's an Okada block. Okay.
I can see
not much mystery there for me.
Yeah, but that is also the big boy block. So excited for that big boy action.
I'm happy Okada gets to fight all the new guys. That's fun.
Yeah. Good stretch for them. Good stretch for them.
And Bad Luck Fale.
And Yano. Yano and Bad Luck Fale, the nights off for these
I'm
guys.
happy we, killed two birds with one stone by putting them in the same block. Appreciate that.
B block for G1 Climax. We have Chase Owens. Chase Owens?
Fuck, man.
You already knew who were in these in this G1.
I already forget this. Like, I forget every block. I wish I was kidding. I don't remember any of these.
So we have Chase Owens.
Okay, that's terrible. Got it.
IWGP Tag Team Champion Great-O-Khan.
All right. I like the Gawk.
Sonata.
I sometimes like Sonata.
Heavyweight Champion Jay White.
That's
good.
Is okay. Okay, well, he's not winning, though, so I have yet to hear a winner for this block.
VOW reports that this might be his last G1. Tomohiro Ishii.
He was supposed to be in it this year.
Yeah.
He's not winning, by the way.
I could see him maybe winning this block as like a last hurrah sort of thing.
No.
Come on.
Let's not act like Tomohiro Ishii is cared about in this company.
Tama Tonga.
He's never going to win the world title. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
And Taichi.
Who the fuck is winning this block?
I do think it could be Sonata. I think it could be Ishii. It could be White.
It's just gonna be Jay.
Great-O-Khan could be an outside. I think Great-O-Khan's a dark horse.
Yeah. Give Gawk his chance. I like to call him Gawk. It's a lot easier.
I think those four guys. I mean, Jay White and Ishii should be good. Sonata, Jay White. Sonata, Jay White. I'm not sure. I'm interested about
Jay White might make people fall asleep.
I'm really interested in Great-O-Khan Jay White. That's what I'm circling on my book. Great-O-Khan Jay White. That's an interesting matchup to me.
So there's so far, based off the first two blocks, is 3 matches at most I'm excited for each block.
All right. Let's go into C block. See how this fares you. C block, of course.
I just remember this was the best one.
Yes, we already know who's going to win this block, and that's my first entrant. Evil baby.
Because I know how many favorites are in this block. I fucking hope Evil wins this one.
Yeah, this is a heavy duty block right here. Well, maybe not totally heavy duty. Aaron Hanare.
Really.
Aaron Hanare.
Yeah, well, you had to have the guy that finishes last.
Yep. Tetsuya Naito.
I think he's the favorite for this block.
I think he is. But there's another favorite, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Okay, listen. You say he's another favorite. The guy hasn't had a shot in years. He should win. If I got the book, if Gato gave me the book, it would still be Evil. But then it would be Tanahashi. See, I gotta stay in character there.
There's also a chance that Tanahashi could be the interim AEW champion.
He will not be
going into this.
Okay.
Not definitely someone who's definitely not going to be the AEW interim champion. Hiroki Goto.
Damn, that was cold, man. That was cold. Shout out to Goto for still being around. Hopefully, he has a good match.
Zack Sabre Jr.
I guess he technically has a chance.
Yeah, and Kenta
to win the block.
And Kenta.
Kenta. I miss Kenta.
Honestly,
Did anyone tell him that he can be Noah?
He could be Noah.
That he should be Noah this tournament?
So again, that's Evil, Hanare, Naito, Tanahashi, Goto, Sabre, and Kenta. That's a really good block.
That is the actual good block. I just won't watch Hanare matches. Easy solution.
Yeah, he's gonna be the loss leader. Hiroki Goto is also probably gonna be a loss leader, but everyone else, that is, oh boy,
we're getting Goto Tanahashi again. We didn't have that match in years, and now we're getting it for a third time in the past year.
Why not run it back? And the D block. Oh boy, I may have had a premonition about this block.
I saw this one. I based off of what we've just gone through, I know this isn't the prettiest block.
D block, we have Yujiro Takahashi. Rock Hard Juice Robinson.
Okay.
We got Shingo Takagi.
Yeah, I know these are the double whammy here.
Shingo Takagi, and then we have IWGP US Champion Will Ospreay.
All right, so they're just going to have the block final. Got it.
That's the block final. You know for a fact we're going to get that match, so that's a big old circle in the calendar.
Is that their third match? Fourth match.
Might be their fourth.
Yeah, because they have the junior one, and then the New Japan Cup final one, and then the title one, and they've all been very good.
Yoshihashi.
Hey, you know what? He might be the third best.
That's a bold claim. David Finlay.
Is it?
D block for David Finlay.
Oh, nice. Forget Juice versus David Finlay. We
are
the answer I've been waiting for. Why Juice? What? No, I'm just kidding. I don't give a shit.
Well, that is a circle. That's a match circle for me. Juice versus David Finlay. That's a little circle.
Yeah. He's gonna be like, "Why did you get so hard?" Rock hard to be exact.
You were never this hard with me, Juice.
Maybe because Juice isn't supposed to be hard.
He was supposed to be soft.
You're drinking the wrong juice. If that's the case,
rock soft Juice Robinson. And of course, soft rock. Soft rock, Juice Robinson. And of course, El Phantasmo as well. So we have Yujiro Takahashi, Juice, Shingo, Ospreay, Yoshihashi, David Finlay, and ELP in this block.
I'm not going to lie to you. These blocks are very confusing, but they made sure to put a bad person in each one. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that effort.
We knew that was going to happen no matter what.
No. They could have put them all in one and then just gave like Ospreay the whole win. I would have been fine with that.
There's always going to be a loss leader, and there's always we knew that was always going to happen. But you got basically your heavy duty block. You got your I don't know what you call the B block.
I'll show you a heavy duty block.
Silent but deadly block, I guess. For the B block.
Isn't that the name of a NXT tag team?
Silent but deadly.
Pretty deadly. That's pretty deadly. Sorry.
Silent but deadly as an NXT team. That's what I'm gonna call B block. We got C block, which is freaking I don't know, the cock block of the tournament.
Also kind of the old man block.
kind of the old man block. You got Goto, Tanahashi, Naito.
Kenta's old.
I feel like how old is Kenta? I was about to say I feel like Kenta's old.
He's probably just like 40, but he's up there.
Turns out you do.
He's had like 7 careers by now.
41, Kenta,
and he's been everywhere.
And then you got your D block, which is your big old D block. There we go, baby. So yes, those are the G1 Climax blocks. Scotty,
well,
thoughts on the whole thing?
There's a lot of matches I can skip.
That's every tournament. The G1 Climax.
No.
What are you talking about?
Past couple of years, yeah. Not every tournament. There were tournaments once upon a time that you only skipped like most Yano matches. And Bad Luck Fale. Shout out Bad Luck Fale.
I'm excited for it. I think that there's some good. For me, I'm really enjoying these blocks. I think there's some good, solid matches in each and every single one of them. I'm a fan of ELP. I'm a fan of Ishii, so I get a little more sexiness in my blocks. I know you're not, so you're missing out.
I'm a fan of Evil, so
that's true. You had Evil,
House of Torture, Bust. They really fucked Yujiro too. What the hell? They're like, here's Shingo and Ospreay. You at least could have gave him a shot, guys.
Look, I just want to have it be said that the Office of New Japan understands. We have the same mind. Look. If you're gonna have these guys, put them all in one block of Ospreay, and then they were like, you know what? Let's throw in Shingo too to have some good, better matches.
That is absolutely what they did.
If anyone can pull out good matches out of these guys, it's Ospreay and Shingo. I think
Juice can be good. Can be good.
Ospreay, Juice.
I've seen Phantasmo have a good match.
Yep.
So I think David Finlay can do pretty well. Based off of his New Japan Cup last year. And I don't remember the rest. So
So perfect.
Yeah, sounds perfect to me. Sounds like a good plot. Oh, and Yujiro's there. And the other guy. Who's the other guy? I don't remember. Oh, Yoshihashi's pretty solid, isn't he?
Yep.
Come on. That's actually not as bad if you think about it and just don't think about them facing each other.
Yeah. That block, you circle the Osprey Shingo match, and then you look at maybe like a couple of the Osprey versus somebody, Shingo versus somebody.
Yeah.
You're not going to be excited about Yoshihashi versus
No,
Yujiro
I'm definitely going to watch
Takahashi.
David Finley versus Juice.
Me too.
Hey, remember how good Yoshihashi versus Evil was last year? Don't you sleep on the Hosh, man.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that I don't think Yoshihashi versus Yujiro is going to be good. They're two different wrestlers, guys. I mean,
I'm definitely going to watch that now.
Well, that's something to look.
All right. Speaking
to.
of rock hard, Vince McMahon. All right, that was a terrible.
Jesus Christ.
Unclassy joke.
Jesus Christ.
Vince McMahon's a piece of shit. Well, we've known this for.
We're not there yet. We're not talking about Vince yet.
We're not there yet.
No, we got two more news items.
That's the big story.
I know.
Vince. I just want to say Vince has kind of always been an asshole. He's literally done these things on TV. I just want to point that out. All right.
These news bits are supposed to be short little bits we get through it, and let's get to it. Sasha Banks, maybe she's released. Basically, Raj Giri of Wrestling Inc. tweeted out, not really a report, just kind of like, I heard this rumor, don't know if it's true, this is what I've heard, and it's basically saying that he's heard that Sasha Banks has been released. There was a second report saying that she has also been released, but nothing has been confirmed. WWE has not commented on it. They refuse to comment. I don't think they refuse to comment on it. They just haven't. There's potential that she has been released, and they're just not they just don't want to talk about it, or that's part of the release, or just don't talk about it. I don't know. Maybe she hasn't been released at all. Where's Naomi in all of this? Scotty, do you have any quick thoughts on this?
Oh, man. I feel like I've given my thoughts like 7 different times. I've been told she's released 7 different times, and she still is not officially released. I think the best way for us to look at it is she will be released if she hasn't been released. I think that's kind of where we're going. And she is going to be the biggest free agent we will be seeing the rest of the year and probably next year, because that is how important she is. She is a quarterly draw. She is a top merch seller. She is a top star. She is, for my money, the best women's wrestler in the history of the United States in wrestling, just wrestling overall. And she's only 30 years old. So there is a long career still ahead of her if she wants it. I saw a lot of people fighting about the Hollywood thing. I don't think it's mostly Hollywood. I think it's mostly just Star Wars right now that you definitely have to contend with. And she's only part of one show. So it's not really something you have to worry about. Best case scenario, she signs with AEW, because she's going to sign with AEW if she is a free agent. We can't be delusional here. All of us that want to see her go to Japan, that's still possible, but she's going to have a United States home base. And where else is she going to go? Tony Khan has to roll out the Brinks truck for that one. She is someone that changes that division the moment she walks in. If you want to talk, how do you make change for that division? You have Sasha Banks as your top women's star. No offense to Britt Baker, no offense to Jade Cargill, no offense to Thunder Rosa, no offense to anyone in that division, but none of them even come close to Sasha Banks' star power. And if she walks in tomorrow, she won't. It'd be cool if she did, but she won't. She's not walking in on dark. Then game changer. Absolute game changer. And yeah, I mean the release is coming. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, totally. She's a must get for AEW. I think AEW is also the only group of people that can properly pay for her too, in that sort of contract, that kind of money. It's a must get. She's gonna draw. It's a certified rating star, certified seller of merch. It's unbelievable despite, multiple championships, tag titles and stuff, it never quite felt like Sasha Banks was pushed to the level of star she was, even with having multiple championships like that. Some of those championships were just sort of transitional looking back on it. So she never quite felt like the actual star she should have been. She should have been up above Flair, above Lynch, I would argue at times. It's amazing that she never got that much push in that sense. She's a great wrestler. So if she's gone from WWE, good for her. I would like to know what's happening with Naomi. No one's ever talking about her anymore. I don't know what's happening with that.
She has a lot of ties to that company still.
That's true. Maybe she's going back in. I don't know. Who the heck knows?
I think. I mean, yeah. Well, the reason we're not talking about Naomi is because we didn't get a report that she got released.
Yes, I know, but my point there is that. Yes, we have the.
It's been like that since the start, though. Poor Naomi.
I know Naomi's always been like the secondhand person here. My point is that Sasha Banks. We hear this report. There's no news at all about Naomi, so seemingly she's still with the company. That would be the idea? But why? I guess that's my point. It's like Sasha Banks. We hear news about Naomi. We haven't. I guess nothing's changed for her, Sasha Banks. But why only release Sasha and not Naomi? That's my question.
I'm sure there's probably a reason.
I'm sure as well. Other sad news. News broke out after we recorded last week. With Jeff Hardy, of course, of AEW fame. Last.
Whoa! You say of AEW fame?
Well, he's in AEW.
He's currently AEW. He has a lot of fame.
He was arrested on Monday in Florida, charged of DUI, alcohol and drugs offense for the third time within 10 years. This is coming from the New York Post. The 12-time tag team champion, who has battled addiction for years, allegedly registered a blood alcohol content of 0.294 and 0.291, both of which are more than triple the legal limit of 0.08. That is incredibly high amount of alcohol in his body. He was, of course, following that time, he was then suspended by AEW without pay, and he can only return to the company upon successfully completing treatment and maintaining his sobriety. A little vague on the wording when that came out, what that necessarily means, but, it doesn't really matter what that means. Basically, get the help, Jeff, you need it. Please maintain your sobriety, and then you can come back to work for this company. So sad news for Jeff Hardy. The guy needs help. I mean, I know it's addiction, and it's a battle, and it's a hard, arduous, constant battle with addiction. But there are things now that's at this point, 3 times in 10 years. At this point, you got to start taking away driver's licenses. You got to start doing the other things. I don't know. This guy's not fit to be on the road. He should not be driving a car with triple the legal limit of alcohol in his bloodstream. It's frustrating. And I want Jeff to get better and needs to get better. But it's also like, well, we need to start doing things to protect other people's safety. Someone could have died. And that's the scary thought. It's really.
Yeah. Someone could have died. And that's the most important part of all this, and someone could have died multiple times. And I think the conversation is always, yes, he's been arrested 3 times, but how many times has he actually done it? He only was caught 3 times.
That's true.
That's the scary part.
That's the sad truth of it all.
Yeah, we had this conversation. We didn't have this conversation, but people had this conversation with Matt Hardy long ago when he was an absolute mess. He cleaned himself up. From all accounts, he's been cleaned up for a long while. I think for Jeff, it comes down to you shouldn't see him back in wrestling probably the rest of the year, because it doesn't take just a month to fix yourself. He's done this so many times. He's fixed himself so many times, and there is now smoke to the fire that was his WWE exit, right? There is now as much smoke as there possibly can be. When he walked through the crowd and WWE did that test on him, and he said, "Oh, I'm fine." Blah blah blah. Blah. I'm not saying he was doing anything then, but it does. This is the reason that WWE did what they did. This is the exact reason, because he ended up back on this cycle. It's very unfortunate. Obviously, in the end, the most important part is Jeff feeling better. But I think it's important to stress he needs a good support system from everyone involved, including a certain person's wife who pretty much made fun of him, which is just unacceptable. That is not the way to go. He needs to be better. AEW went the right way. They could have fired him, could have left him out to be, but I think trying to help him first, and we've said this again multiple times, but trying to help him, and pretty much saying you're suspended without pay. So without firing him, you're not getting anything. Yep. You're suspended without pay until you get yourself together. Hopefully AEW and all those around him do support him, because Jeff can still. I want to say this. Like, I know Jeff has had a tough time since he came back, and we kind of know why. But Jeff still can be a good wrestler. I think. He's good in the car crashes. I think he should have less of those if he comes back, because that's what gets you here. That's a lot of pain that you're going through. That match with Darby was probably the final. Like, I don't want to get too. I'm not going to say what I almost said, because it's not what I meant, but that's the type of match that sends you down that road. I'm sure. I don't know from experience. I have never wrestled, but watching what he went through during that match and what Darby went through, it's just like, man, I don't know how he's supposed to deal with that other than the ways he has before. So just gonna wish him the best, and I think not WWE, AEW did the right move, and let's just hope that Jeff cleans himself. I don't care if I ever see him wrestle again. I just want him clean, and I want him to be, live the next 30 years of his life.
Yeah, undoubtedly,
and other people too, because him being on the road is just not good.
Yeah, exactly.
He should not have his license. He shouldn't be driving anytime soon. You got to punish these people.
And AEW has obviously handled this in the past well. I mean, I don't know. Obviously addiction is different for everybody, and everybody handles it and can. I don't want to say solve it, because it's a battle, but everyone kind of figures how to work with it, deal with it in the best way they can. But AEW has worked with this sort of idea of in the past of Jon Moxley having to go to rehab and all that stuff. And that wasn't necessarily per AEW.
Very different situation.
Very different situation. But we see how AEW has handled these sort of serious issues, and they always seem to handle it in, I think, a proper way. So, hopefully Jeff Hardy can get the help he needs, and this whatever new thing is works for him. And I agree. Yeah. I'm okay if that Darby match is the last big, Jeff Hardy special ladder gimmick spot of Jeff Hardy. I think that's a good spot, a good way to go out on. The most important thing is being able to live, and I don't know about doing any of those again.
No, it's better if he doesn't.
And for that,
the Young Bucks became tag team champions because of it. So,
in a weird way, that's in the weird way they became tag team champions because of it. And maybe
first ever 2-time tag champs. How many 2-time champs do we have? Well, TNT title. Never mind.
TNT title is like 4-time champs already. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about our big news story. Not even the big news story, the big kickoff here today. And that was, of course, Vince McMahon, WWE and CEO and chairperson Vince McMahon, quote, voluntarily stepped back. This is, of course, coming from Kotaku, everywhere you get your business wrestling news from his roles within the company amid an investigation of an alleged affair and payout with a WWE paralegal employee, according to the Wall Street Journal. Here's everything we know about McMahon's ongoing investigation. So basically, McMahon is being accused of having an affair with a former employee, paying her $3 million as hush money. As an NDA signed as well from January.
That's more money than he paid for WCW.
Oh God! It also kind of shows how bigger this company is than it was back then.
Yeah.
That also
times have changed, obviously.
It also barred the paralegal from discussing or disparaging her relationship with him, of course, in that NDA. An internal probe issued by WWE Special Committee reportedly found McMahon issued similar non-disclosure agreements with other former female WWE employees, alleging misconduct from both Vince McMahon and WWE head of talent relations John Laurinaitis. So not only do we have the story of the paralegal, she got her pay doubled suddenly, and then she had to sign NDAs, got a $3 million hush money payout. But apparently there are other non-disclosure agreements that are also part of it. WWE board members reportedly launched the investigation into McMahon in April after they learned of the CEO's alleged misconduct via anonymous emails sent to the company from someone who claimed to be friends with the former paralegal. So this has sort of been happening from January to April, and April is when the board knew and used that to maybe cloud some judgment about what happened from April to now in the WWE boardroom. So Scotty, a lot to unpack here. Let's get into it, I guess. Thoughts on this whole Vince McMahon story?
Well, let's start. Let's start by saying this didn't start in January. Maybe this exact story did, but the Vince McMahon and what he does behind the scenes did not start in January. I can promise you that. It started back when he took over the company. That's when it started. Because we have seen it, whether it be on air, we've heard things off air, just with storylines he's pitched alone, that this man is not right in the head. And I also want to start by saying anyone that releases the name of this person is an absolute scumbag, and they can absolutely go fuck themselves.
Of the paralegal or any of the people.
Of the paralegal. You should never share someone's name, because then they're going to receive backlash from the crazies that still love Vince McMahon so dearly, as we have seen.
The crazies that may bow down to him as he's making his entrance.
Oh my God!
Please don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go. God.
It's awful. By the way, he still remains a crazy businessman. Clearly, he probably I haven't seen SmackDown ratings, but he probably did spike that rating just for him to say, This is WWE. Goodbye. All right, cool. Sounds good. You feel for the people involved in the situation that aren't named Vince McMahon, obviously.
Aren't named John Laurinaitis.
Or fuck John Laurinaitis. And I've been very much on that train for the longest of time. Hope he loses his job, and I never want someone to lose their job, but in this situation, I want him to lose his job. There's a lot of shitty people that work for WWE, and almost all of them often are the Vince McMahon bitch boys. And when I say that, is that John Laurinaitis has been that for how long? Years? Decades?
People
always
power.
Has been.
People power.
No one likes him. People power. Yep. Fuck him. And I think in all of this, it was lost that Vince McMahon is still Vince McMahon. I hinted at this earlier, but he's not gonna just go down. He said he's gonna cooperate with the board and accept whatever they come with the investigation. But the reason he says that is because he's Vince McMahon, right? There's a reason he went on television days after. There's a reason that he still has creative power. And let's be honest, we saw the report that the Stephanie thing was an optics move. Of course it was. I've seen Succession. I'm living it right now with this stupid freaking company. And, people may laugh, but it's exactly the same almost. Obviously, the story's a little different because this is very much a Vince thing, but it comes down to a lot of the same changes here and how to maneuver. Uh, it's it's frustrating because again, we knew this was happening at one point or the other. Like people are gonna say, "Well, you didn't know for sure that Vince was doing this." I was like, "But you kind of did." You've always heard things about that company and how backstage isn't always too comfortable. And this isn't even backstage. This is in that building in Stanford, I'm assuming, in Connecticut. That's what I'm assuming it is, just based off of it being company people.
Company
Again,
people, lawyers, and legal stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Right. But there's so much to go into here. Like I'm already losing off the tracks, but I just want to I want to get back to the basis of Vince McMahon is a scumbag. Vince McMahon has always been a scumbag. You can say he's a good businessman and I guess you can appreciate his moves that he's done to get to the dominance that WWE has today.
Billion dollar company.
Yeah, $1 billion company. And he's done everything in his power to make that happen. No matter who gets in his way, no matter what gets in his way, he has always done what's best for the company. So that brings me to Stephanie McMahon. I think this is the most interesting okay, Vince is getting, pushed out and, the poor woman that had to sign this NDA and of course the news that there's multiple that have done this potentially in the past. But the most interesting part to me now is the Stephanie McMahon part. Stephanie McMahon had her own news bit on our show a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
a
couple weeks ago, it was announced that Stephanie McMahon's going to be taking a back seat in the chief brand officer role. She gave up her duties as chief brand officer to saying that she wanted to spend time with her family. There was a really nasty report about her doing a poor job from WWE, sort of burying her on the way out.
Insider, yeah.
And then a month later, she is now the interim CEO and chairwoman of WWE.
And I might be crazy, but I could see that stick. Just based off of all reports that I've read, that I've heard, that I've been told, people like Stephanie McMahon in that company. Talent like Stephanie McMahon, which shouldn't be shocking after all, because her husband, Triple H, is someone that the talent like. And in the end, I feel like the talent should have some say because they're the ones making you the money at the end of the day. Like without the Roman Reigns, without the Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch and all those talents, WWE isn't WWE as much as they think they are, and they think they can make new stars just with the snap of their fingers.
We can just make new Sasha Bankses.
Yeah, I saw that one. I was like, oh yeah, you can make a new Sasha Banks. Yeah, have fun with that. I can't wait till Lacey Evans is running around with a briefcase. It's gonna be great. Anyways, I think the Stephanie McMahon thing can stick, which is very interesting to me since she was trying to get pushed out a month ago, and now she's back, and now she's in the highest position possible in this company. I think there's still obviously the idea that Nick Khan is going to be running stuff as well. That's not going to go away either. But this completely throws up in the air of what the hell the future of WWE is, because we have been saying for the past year that they're going to sell. We've been saying all these things, and now Vince McMahon is 1 foot out the door for the first time ever. I still don't think he goes anywhere because he's Vince McMahon. But in the end, before Ryan gets to share his piece, I just want to end with this. Vince McMahon's a scumbag. I hope he gets what he deserves, which is no more job. And because it can't be said enough how there have been so many shitty things this man has done as the head of this company. It's about time. It's about time that he gets his comeuppance Will he get it? That's the question I have because, again, he's Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I like a lot of what you said there. Is that especially that last line? He is Vince McMahon after all. And back in the you look up any stuff that happened in the '80s, stuff with Vince,
The referee,
stuff with the referee. I was just about to say that the steroid trial itself. Man walked in thinking to go to jail, somehow was able to get out of it. He had some great lawyer team. That's been the same lawyer team that helped him out in the steroid trial. But at the same time, this is a different world than the '80s. You know, this is a different world. 2022.
You made that good point on was it Twitter? I think you said that.
Yeah, it's a different world where speaking out, where this sort of like the Harvey Weinstein sort of stuff that stuff starting to actually bring down CEOs and people like of this nature. In any other business, Vince McMahon would 100% be out. The problem is, this guy has not been out before on worse. I don't know about worse stuff. I mean, the belief is that this affair was consensual, and there's been things of Vince McMahon where it wasn't consensual. So, yeah, I'll say worse stuff. He didn't go out on worse stuff. So, hopefully there is some sort of comeuppance, like you said. There's maybe not comeuppance, justice or some sort of thing that it feels better. But it is. I mean, it ultimately would come down to two things. One, whether or not Vince used company money to pay off the $3 million and however much money he may have given to other women for those other NDAs. Did he use company funds to do that? If so, the man's out. And at the same breath, we saw that the paralegal specifically, they got raised from $100,000 to $200,000. So they got their pay doubled. Was that based on merit, or is that based on something else? Based on, hey, you got to hit it with John Laurinaitis too. So those are the two big things that they're gonna have to figure out. It's wild to me that WWE, the company, is just like, oh yeah, he did it, and they're just sort of like saying that yeah, this is something they're doing. It is, all the fingers are being pointed at Vince here. But like you said, Vince got a little bit of an ego. He also knows he escaped jail. Yeah, a little bit. Escaped jail before and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like you said, don't know what's gonna happen. It could be as bad as jail. There's, because it's not only do you have these NDAs and hush money and all that stuff, you have other boards and other investigative things that are looking into like how the company handles like morally, like like how does the company structure work and how do these sorts of things. As soon as that company looks into like, I don't know, independent contractors and how that whole system works, they're gonna be like, I don't know about that one, or the boys being boys and all that stuff, and locker rooms full of shit in their people's bags. It's stuff that like, this is the 90s and things have obviously changed, but we're not, ideally no one's shitting in other people's bags anymore, but there's still, this is not a great locker room, and that circle of Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, whoever else may be a part of that circle, is not necessarily the greatest. So WWF has never been the cleanest of companies, but it's a lot of hot water right now. Steph McMahon is a very interesting aspect. It does feel very much optically, whether or not, because that's the other thing, is that whether or not she remains, let's say Vince is ousted, right? Let's have that conversation. Let's say Vince is ousted from this company completely. The board rules that they no longer find him in favor of the company. There are huge dominoes there. Number one, that is just on the board side, that is 80% of the voting power of the board is now have to go to other people. That has to get split up. There's also the stock. Who owns the stock? The majority of the stock, it's Vince. So that also will have to get split up and divided up. a lot of what we thought was the succession plan with Triple H and Stephanie back in the day has, for the most part, been absolved. It looks like maybe with Stephanie, maybe there's some lingering aspects still there.
Game changes when someone's put into power.
Yeah, but and also not only game changes in that sense, but the game also changed with Triple H having his heart issues.
Yep.
And then now also that in January you have the Shane McMahon issue in January when this was all happening in a weird way. You have John Laurinaitis may also be out. He could also just be a fall guy. Who's going to take up the company? Will it be Steph McMahon fully after the fact? Will Triple H be involved in any capacity despite his health? Will Nick Khan somehow take over more roles and more power in this company, and then probably knowing Nick Khan, just sell it off? Will Bruce Pritchard or Jeff Jarrett or any of these other guys step up? I don't know if they'll take up CEO and chairperson, but you're talking creative if Vince is gone. He's still in creative now. If creative is gone, is Jeff Jarrett going to be in there? Is Bruce Pritchard going to be in there?
JEFFJARRET.
It is wild to think that Jeff Jarrett could be running creative of WWE.
He's running house shows. That's close.
Running house shows. So there's
Jeffrey Jarrett, new employee of WWE.
There's those aspects. Could it just be a whole other outside person? I don't know. NBC or Fox just sort of take it over. I mean, there's NBC and Fox. How do they feel about this news? I mean,
do they not want to touch it at all?
I'm surprised Fox allowed Vince to come out on stage. Legitimately, I'm surprised Fox. Maybe they said something and we don't know that, but I'm surprised.
You gotta go back to what makes all these people go, though.
And that's money.
Equal more viewers. That was going to equal more success for that show. They probably said, "Oh yeah, that's fine."
Yeah, that's true. You gotta weigh those options. But even then, let's say Vince is ousted. A lot of the reasons that we've heard through grapevines that one of the reasons they may want to sell is making sure that Vince is a part of the company when they sell it. Because some people see Vince as the company, which he pretty much is. So, with Vince out, how are you going to sell that? Who are you going to sell it to? Are you going to be able to sell it for as much? Because now you have to find people who aren't running the company, aren't the company, a new creative team, a new head, a new person to put this company in charge. I can totally see Nick Khan running this company and trying to sell it. I could totally see, I don't know, man. I can totally see Stephanie staying in there and Nick Khan and Stephanie being a tag team of sorts. Creative-wise, I don't freaking know, and I don't want to hear a conversation about people 100% need writers to cut promos and all that stuff. But the creative team, is that going to stay? Is that sort of group of people are going to stay? The soap opera writers and whatnot. It is the wildest potential for this company.
Stephanie
in a
McMahon
very long
doesn't
time.
like Kevin Dunn, so
yeah, and that's also true. Stephanie McMahon doesn't like Kevin Dunn. Maybe that's
no
a
one
good
else
thing.
does. To be fair,
maybe
Vince.
Maybe Stephanie in the company is a good idea. You already heard the report that she doesn't like Kevin Dunn. You already heard the report that a lot of the roster really likes her, and this is all kind of seen as a positive move. Maybe that's just good for the company on a morale standpoint. It's easier to talk to Stephanie. Now
I can see it hang.
Now there's also the creative part, which is a whole different aspect to it. But I don't see Stephanie running creative or anything like that. But who the heck knows, man? This is no longer a family business. This is $1 billion company. As much as Jerry McDivitt might say to MLW lawyers, this is no longer a family business. They got stuff to figure out, and this is, like we said at the top of the show, tip of the old iceberg.
Yeah, there's so much. We still need the complete, avalanche of what's to come. You say iceberg, I say avalanche, and there's a lot that's gonna happen, and we don't have the answers. We just know that the truth that a lot of people have believed about Vince McMahon has more legs to it than ever before. Sure. And a lot of the shitheads, aka his bitch boys, as I called them earlier, are in trouble. They are in trouble. John Laurinaitis should be without a job right now. They shouldn't even wait. Um, but that's me having personal feelings against him, and him firing every wrestler known to humanity as by saying budget cuts. But oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we sit here, we talk about this. In the end, we will be talking about it in another month and another month. I don't see it ending just today. I don't see it ending in a month.
No,
I think there's a lot to go through here.
No, there's the aspect of whether or not figuring out, Vince's money was used, and that's the other thing. I was talking to my fiance Jesse about this is that back in the 80s, you have the doctor flushing down papers, down the toilet, down the drain. But here, how much of this stuff may have been digital, text messages can be found and all this stuff. I don't know how much an investigative team of a board can figure out in terms of that versus like trial lawyers and stuff. But, there's things to still uncover. This is a massive news story. It's not a good look if Vince comes back into it, unless they find enough fall guys and enough people to take the brunt of this. It's not a good look.
They can.
I mean, I'm sure they can. I'm sure they will. But it is an interesting idea. I think the obvious plan, I would think, is finding ways to keep Vince in the company, unless they decide at some point, the board decides, no, we think actually Stephanie and Nick are a better team than Vince and Nick, so we'll get rid of Vince. But then they have to figure out creative, and that's a whole nother sandbag. And then you also have investigation on company culture and stuff, which is a whole nother issue that they have.
Yeah.
Vince is also going to trial against Oliver Luck for the XFL, so that's also another not good look for him. So it's
shocking that Vince McMahon has a lot of bad looks against him.
This house of cards is currently crumbling, and it's just a matter of whether he can build it back up, I guess. I don't know. I mean, do you think, Scotty, you think that he's pretty much going to just find a way to stick it out? What are the odds you think that he might just get ousted?
They were very 50-50, truthfully. I think because it by all the reports and everything we're hearing, it shouldn't be 50-50. It should be like 70-30. He's out.
Maybe 90-10.
He's Vince McMahon, so unfortunately I have to give him like the boxer's chance of, he can just throw one punch and that man's staying around. And that's just the power that we're so used to with him. This is very different. He's never dealt with this, at least openly. I don't know how, maybe in the years past it hasn't cracked through, but he survived the steroid trials, like you said. He survived everything, man. It's so hard for me to assume that, in a year's time, Vince McMahon won't be involved with WWE. It's really hard for me to think otherwise.
That's also like the general frustration about wrestling and WWE as a company. Is just, in any other world, it's like, no, right, and that's it for Vince McMahon. In wrestling, you and I are just like, whew, Jerry McDivitt's a good lawyer. I don't know.
Yeah. To be fair, this should be a situation where the lawyer doesn't have to have any say. This is all the board, and the board should be able to say, okay, he's either in or out. But in the end, this company is Vince McMahon's company.
And we should also say is that despite having, the majority of the power of the board and the voting power and all that jazz, there's like a clause in Vince's contract that if the board deems that he's no longer fit to lead the company or whatever, then they can personally get rid of him.
It's succession. It's exactly succession. This is ridiculous.
It ultimately comes down to the board.
If you've never watched that show, then watch it, and you're gonna have like Vietnam flashbacks to this story by the time you finish that the first 3 seasons. It's still on.
I assume I can probably look up who's part of the board. Yeah, here we go. I can look up a list of the board of directors right now. You got Vince McMahon. Oh, he's not gonna say anything. Nick Khan. That's very interesting vote. Stephanie, Triple H, Steve, Pammon, whoever the heck, Erica, Steve Coonan. I feel like I recognize that name. Got a bunch of different guys in here. Just a bunch of independent other people who work for various different things. So very interesting idea of what's going to happen here. I mean, the stock is done fairly didn't collapse from this news, so very interesting. But yeah, the selling idea aspect is a whole other thing. It's this whole situation, man. It is crazy. It is
if
crazy.
if I got my best case scenario, one Vince would obviously be out because morals and morals and morals and morals, and this would it wouldn't make up for all the things he's done, but it would be some sort of justice finally, right? I'm sure. So that's my first point. The second point is I don't really care who runs this company, and as long as it's not Vince. I mean, Stephanie, I think makes sense, because she's been around for years and people like her. And I think at this time, you want someone that's liked because that's very important, especially when. But I could see why she doesn't, and maybe they just want no McMahon in power. That too.
That's true.
So we'll see. We'll see. But
I'm sure
McMahon's a scumbag. So there you go.
I'm sure we'll have way more news down the
Oh, and the
pipeline.
people bowing down and stuff, and
What a bunch of numbskulls.
you guys are fucking idiots. Oh my god. Listen. It's just, I said this earlier. You can appreciate what he has done as a businessman if you want. That's all you. But let's not bow down when something about him doing what he did comes out. Okay? Let's not do that.
I also just love the freaking what was it, the CNN news report of Jake Tapper, and just at the end of the port, yeah, and then Vince McMahon is set to reportedly open up SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown tonight with Vince McMahon. Jake Tapper's response: of course he will. Just this I don't know if he's a fan of wrestling or if he understands like these sort of CEO types.
He must understand Vince McMahon.
Yeah, and just like, all right, this guy's got an ego. So yeah, it's big ass story. We'll obviously talk about it more. I assume this is not the end of it, so we'll get more as the weeks go on. We'll see what happens. Speaking of about week coming on, next Sunday, a very, very big show. Pardon me. AEW and New Japan having a crossover show on the non WWE wrestling talk side. WWE is falling apart. AEW New Japan having a joint show June 26th, just for me, for my birthday, Chicago, Illinois United Center. We got a little bit of a card ski here in front of you.
Are we recording double on your birthday?
Yeah. June 26th is my birthday, baby.
We're gonna have a double birthday celebration for Ryan.
My birthday celebration is gonna be watching this show.
It's good celebration. Well, it should be a good celebration.
Should be good.
I don't know how it could be. I want to say before we get into it, the amount of times I've been told this week, like, how are you excited for this card? I was like, I don't know. Maybe because I like wrestling.
I don't know. It's a great card. I don't know.
I mean, I can understand people that bought a ticket are like, oh, well, I expected, Okada there, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't buy a fucking ticket. You know what I did? And I've seen people that have bought a ticket. They're like, yeah, it's going to be great. First time I'm seeing New Japan talent, which is cool in itself. I'm like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of good matches on here already. I think with the level of I think people are forgetting that AEW pay-per-views, you usually get the most out of the wrestlers, right? And I think people are seeing like these big tags and they're like, oh well, so New Japan tags, they're not gonna try. It's like, no. That's not how this works for them. It's not how this works. And that's why I'm excited. I am excited to talk about this show. I think we still are missing a couple matches from what will be happening. We'll talk about them next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But it's best to preview what we have now because,
oh
boy,
it's some good stuff so far. Yeah, no, I'll push back on the Okada stuff. I mean, we still don't know. The only
Okada should be on the show, but if he's not, whatever.
The only person that has ever said that Okada is not going to be on the show is Adam Cole in a wrestling promo. Who gives a shit? It's Adam Cole. He's a heel. I'm not going to believe that guy. I'll hear when I see. I'll see when I see it. If he's not on the show, then he's not on the show. But at the very best, you also still get
and no Okada.
No Naito
and no Ibushi, and no Omega.
Ibushi is a different situation.
Well, yes, but like just as a wrestling fan, like those are a lot of guys that you wish could have been there when you dreamt of this show.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that pushback of people.
Danielson.
Well, I mean that's also. Here's the thing. I'm not going to complain about these things because that is a lot of fantasy booking and dream booking that there was zero promise of any of that stuff. I'm not going to be upset about it. Plus,
I'm happy we're getting title matches.
We're getting title matches. We're getting new titles and having matches.
Everyone
just thinks this is just a one-off show. This show's sold out. Why would they not do a second Forbidden Door? What are we doing here, folks?
Tony Khan wants it to be annual.
Yeah.
And he says he has a good relationship. He enjoys booking with Gato. I can't see them not having more of a show. I can't see this just being the G1 Supercard one-off.
Yeah.
Which that was more of a one-off because of what would happen in the world a year later than anything else.
Yeah. All right. We don't get Naito this show. Great. See him next year, I guess. I mean, what are we doing?
It's funny because I remember at the beginning, everyone's like, oh, it's just going to be a bunch of tags, maybe, top 1 or 2 title matches. And I was like, so in my head was like, okay, so New Japan versus Noah. That's whatever. But we've already have a better card than New Japan versus Noah.
Yeah. Way better card.
Chill out. It's going to be a great show.
We currently have 5 title matches booked with presumably the IWGP World Heavyweight coming around the corner too.
Well, that's what Jay White told me, so he better not be lying.
He doesn't typically lie.
No, he tells the truth a lot.
Yeah.
I had a good joke. So the match, is it called the match? There was this like big kickboxing event in Japan this past weekend. That like had 59,000 people in the Tokyo Dome, sold half a billion pay-per-views or whatever. Very big. Yeah. And my big joke was, Jay White walked so they could run. Good for them. But like every wrestler was there.
Yep.
Like the entire Stardom roster was there. Everyone was there. It was a big thing. And I just wanted to give credit to Jay White for letting it all happen.
He's a very kind wrestler, really.
And he sold out the United Center all by himself. Sold out Madison Square Garden by himself. I look forward to the day he sells out insert football stadium here all by himself. I look forward to the
Mercedes-Benz Stadium, just to throw one out there.
Yeah, just get that's Ryan saying get to Atlanta, you little shit.
All right, well let's talk about
They can run a stadium.
They can run a stadium.
But they'd have to have a major main event. Like you have to do your Okada Omega.
You do Okada Omega. You do
Punk Tanahashi. Danielson,
and
I'm just naming the biggest names.
You do Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. in a tag match against Danielson and returning William Regal. I don't know. I'm just pulling it out there. Why not?
Sting versus Muto.
We gotta sell a stadium. Okay.
Oh man, Muto's retiring.
We didn't. Damn it! I didn't bring that up in the news. That was one. I knew I forgot something. I knew something got missed in the whole.
You forgot the biggest legend we could talk about.
Oh man, Muto. We'll talk about more when it actually comes up. His first match comes up. Well, let's talk about Forbidden Door. What they have so far. So of course, So far. Maybe there'll be more. Who the heck knows? AEW Women's World Title match. Thunder Rosa taking on and defending her title against Toni Storm.
Oh, speaking of Thunder Rosa, she's going to be on a TJPW show.
Ooh.
Against Miyu Yamashita.
What I thought AEW was stupid for not booking that.
They're going to be smart if Miyu Yamashita wins, and then they book the title match for All Out, which I think they're going to do.
Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics just tweeted out that a second law firm is taking up a class action lawsuit against WWE.
Christ.
You talk about the Toni Storm Thunder Rosa match. I'll read this article real quick.
All right. Well, I don't have that many thoughts about it. I do think that them going right to a Toni Storm match is a little interesting. Because I kind of think this Toni Storm stuff has kind of been, I don't know, have you noticed? They've burned through 2 Toni Storm Britt Baker matches now. She's now competing for the title very quickly. It's almost like she's not going to be around. That's kind of the hint I'm getting. I've seen some people hint at this as well. It feels like she's not going to be around for a little bit or something. And it's cool because this is the closest you're going to get to like that New Japan Stardom match in a way, because Toni Storm's a former World of Stardom champion, and Thunder Rosa, of course, is the current AEW Women's Champion. I'm happy that they're doing a women's title match on the show, and this is probably the biggest way you could do. It's just they did it really fast, so I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, that's the match. Ryan.
Yep. Yeah, I think I totally agree with what you're saying. I think that Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa was not only on purpose. It's good. They didn't have to do Toni Storm here, but I completely agree with what you're saying. That is the closest that they can do with the situation in front of them of AEW versus Stardom. I totally agree with what you're saying, especially seeing that the 5-star Grand Prix is around the corner, and we still have an unannounced international participant. So maybe a little bit closer to Stardom than we know of. But
I saw some I'm not gonna. I was gonna call him a name, but I don't remember who it was, so I'm gonna take it back. I saw some numb thought of, why aren't they doing Thunder Rosa versus Miyu Yamashita on Forbidden Door? And I was like, do you understand how this works? Do you understand that Miyu Yamashita is not part of that company in any way? New Japan doesn't want to work with Cyberfight, and Cyberfight doesn't want to work with New Japan. Now, AEW can work with both of them all fine, but you're not combining it. There's a reason like Konosuke Takeshita probably isn't on this show, by the way. Like that, there's your perfect example. Let's stop being numb. Let's just stop acting like let's just have these matches because we want them. That's not how this works. We are getting that match after all. It's just not happening on Forbidden Door because it makes no sense. God, some people, man.
Slight tangent. This is from Business Wire. The Shaw Law firm. God, Jesus Christ! A national shareholder rights litigation firm announces that it is investigating claims on behalf of investors of WWE for violations of the securities law. Basically, it's just a investigation that focuses on whether the company issued false and/or misleading statements or failed to disclose information pertinent to the investors. Basically, it's a law firm that's read the article like everybody else, saw that the board seemingly knew in January. The investigation began in April. They didn't, and then this got announced in June. So why didn't you tell your investors about this situation? If your investigation started in April and we didn't hear about it publicly until June, why didn't you say anything? So it's kind of just, I think, a person, just a law firm going after something that might be a quick buck. We'll see what the hell happens with that, I guess. But lawyers are coming, baby. Lawyers are swarming. Sharks are swarming. Oh yeah, Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm.
Nothing I love more in my wrestling than lawyers.
Yeah, baby. Mark Sterling all day. Which
Ugh.
Thunder Rosa, Tony Storm should be a really good match. IWGP US Heavyweight Title match with no title present. It's going to be Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. This is insane that this match is happening in a good way.
I can understand. So there are people that are. This is the match that people are like, you have so many options, and you're doing Orange Cassidy, and I get it. I do.
You watch Warrior Wrestling, and you're like, oh man, Will Ospreay versus Swerve would be a good idea.
Yeah, that was the one. I was like, I get it. I thought the same thing. I was like, well, you have Swerve, you got all these people that probably aren't going to be on the show, right? Let's just be honest, it's not everyone's making it on this show.
Yeah.
But I think Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy could have a great match, so I'm not that worried about it. Orange Cassidy hasn't wrestled in forever, so should be interesting to see him go in there. I think the main reason people need to understand this is that I've seen a lot of people say, "Well, New Japan doesn't care nearly about much about the show as AEW does," and there were reports that Orange Cassidy wasn't the original opponent for William Ospreay, but it was Andrade El Idolo, which
not only that's not reports.
I'm a little emotional about.
Scotty, that's not Scotty. That's not reports. That's Andrade himself saying that's what it was going to be.
Andrade went off. He was like, "This sucks," and I was like, "I agree, Andrade. This does suck." Because Andrade, personally, to me, has figured out himself the past couple big matches he's had, and he's kind of just had to take a back seat until this show's over, despite like the Roosh tease. It sucks because Andrade's great. Andrade versus Ospreay, that would have been a marquee match, but we know why it's not happening. And Orange Cassidy's someone that can lose to Will Ospreay, so there you go. If it helps, Orange Cassidy's part of a faction in New Japan, so booking 101.
Yeah,
Empire versus Chaos.
I feel like people forget that Orange Cassidy is a massive star in the company.
There was a little too much best friends group over this show, though.
Well, best friends, they originated in New Japan.
Yeah. I don't mind Roppongi Vice.
I think what a lot of the American audience forgetting is that this show is also for New Japan fans. And New Japan fans, you can make the argument of whether or not they know of Swerve versus Orange Cassidy more, but Orange Cassidy, member of Chaos, weirdly enough, so he's part of the mix there. You have that IWGP US Heavyweight Title match. It's Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. That should be good. I think he's a massive star in the company. Orange Cassidy is. People also forget that. Yeah, it looks weird on paper, but I mean, it'll be fine. It will be
very good. I think it'll be a very, very good title match.